Hey guys, Kevin here, and today I want to talk about Bran's powers, or rather, the limits to Bran's powers. I started making this video after the third episode of Season 6, Oathbreaker, and I really wish I would have released it because it would have been very relevant 2 episodes later in the episode titled The Door. Nevertheless, Bran's powers in the context of the books still need to be addressed. In the books, Bloodraven details 2 limits to Bran's powers. And long story short, neither of these limits are true. The easiest one to disprove is the idea that Bran's ability to see events in the past, present, and future are limited by the proximity of those events to a Weirwood tree. The paragraph that introduces this limit in the books begins with Bloodraven saying, "Once you have mastered your gifts, you may look where you will and see what the trees have seen, be it yesterday or last year or 1,000 ages past." But this limit is easy to disprove because that same paragraph ends with Bloodraven saying, "And those are the first eyes a new greenseer learns to use. But in time, you will see well beyond the trees themselves." So the limit is only temporary, and not the permanent limit that many book readers seem to believe it is. In Season 4 of the show, Bran has a vision of a dragon flying over King's Landing, and most likely sees the event through the eyes of a dragon behind it. So Bran in the show, and likely in the books as well, can see events in the past and future through the eyes of animals. Bran's unique ability to warg humans further suggests that he is able to see any conversation through any set of eyes at any time in history. The second limit, introduced to book readers and show watchers by Bloodraven, is the idea that Bran is unable to communicate with individuals through the Weirwood trees or into the past. In Season 6 Episode 3, Bran shouts to Ned as he's climbing the steps of the Tower of Joy, and Ned turns and confusedly searches the empty space behind him. Bloodraven claims that Ned maybe heard Bran or maybe heard the wind. His line, "The past is already written, the ink is dry," implies that Bran cannot change the past, and that he should not try to do so. In the books, Bloodraven flat out lies to Bran and tells him that he can't change the past. There are 2 somewhat similar scenes in the books to the scene in the show. Both are in the same chapter of Bloodraven's Weirwood tree speech. In the first scene, Bran sees Ned cleaning his greatsword Ice in the Godswood. Bran whispered Winterfell, and Ned looked up, turned, and asked who's there. Bran pulls out of the vision, and when he tells Bloodraven that his father heard him, Bloodraven replies, "He heard a whisper on the wind, a rustling among the leaves. You cannot speak to him, try as you might, I know. I have my own ghost, Bran, a brother that I loved, a brother that I hated, a woman I desired. Through the trees I see them still, but no word of mine has ever reached them. The past remains the past. We can learn from it, but we cannot change it." The second similar scene is when Bran sees Ned talking about bringing Jon Snow home to Winterfell. "Let them grow up as close as brothers, with only love between them," he prayed. "And let my lady wife find it in her heart to forgive. Father," Bran's voice was a whisper in the wind, a rustle in the leaves. "Father, it's me. It's Bran, Brandon." Eddard Stark lifted his head and looked long at the Weirwood, frowning, but he did not speak. "He cannot see me," Bran realized, despairing. He wanted to reach out and touch him, but all that he could do was watch and listen. "I am in the tree. I am inside the heart tree, looking out of its red eyes, but the Weirwood cannot talk, so I can't." It's important to acknowledge just how different Ned's reactions are in these 2 scenes. In one, he frowns at the Weirwood, and the other, he freaks out and asks who's around. These 2 different reactions suggest that Ned was reacting to 2 different things. When Ned frowns at the Weirwood, George R.R. Martin tells us that Bran's voice is a whisper in the wind, a rustle in the leaves. This means that in the other instance, Ned did not hear wind or leaves. Ned freaked out and thought that someone was around because he heard a human voice. Another scene that directly challenges the idea that Bran is not able to communicate through the Weirwood tree involves Theon. As I stated in Magic Part 2, Theon's redemption arc in the books begins when Bran reminds Reek that he is indeed Theon of House Greyjoy. Theon sees Bran's face in the Weirwood. A leaf drifted down from above, brushed his brow, and landed in the pool. It floated on the water, red, 5-fingered, like a bloody hand. "Bran," the tree murmured. "They know. The gods know. They saw what I did. And for one strange moment, it seemed as if it was Bran's face carved into the pale trunk of the weirwood, staring down at him with eyes red and wise and sad. Bran's ghost, he thought, but that was madness. Reek then hears his name from the weirwood tree and begins his redemption arc. The leaves of the tree were rustling his name. Theon, they seemed to whisper. Theon. The old gods, he thought. They know me. They know my name. I was Theon of House Greyjoy. I was ward of Eddard Stark, a friend and brother to his children. This is also brought up again in Theon's Winds of Winter chapter. The end of Theon's Winds of Winter chapter sees ravens randomly saying tree and Theon, before Stannis and Theon's sister, Asha Greyjoy, discuss what to do with Theon. Stannis states that he cannot keep the Northern Lords if he shows mercy to the man who betrayed Robb Stark and killed Bran and Rickon. Your brother must die. Then do the deed yourself, your grace. The chill in Asha's voice made Theon shiver in his chains. Take him out across the lake, to the islet where the weirwood grows, and strike his head off with that sorcerer's sword you bear. That is how Eddard Stark would have done it. Theon slew Lord Eddard's sons. Give him to Lord Eddard's gods, the old gods of the north. Give him to the tree. And suddenly there came a wild thumping, as the maester's ravens hopped and flapped inside their cages, their black feathers flying as they beat against the bars with loud and raucous caws. The tree, one squawked, the tree, whilst the second screamed only, Theon, Theon, Theon. Theon Greyjoy smiled. They know my name, he thought. They know my name is a direct quote from the previous A Dance with Dragons passage, referencing Bran's role in Theon's redemption. Give him to the old gods. Give him to the tree. Both referring to simply giving Theon to Bran, suggests that Bran is intervening in the potential death of Theon Greyjoy. This is not the only time we see Bran intervening in events in the series. Back in the second book, Bran comes to Jon in a rather consequential chapter. Jon. The call came from behind him, softer than a whisper, but strong too. Can a shout be silent? He turned to his head, searching for his brother, for a glimpse of a lean gray shape moving beneath the trees. But there was nothing, only a weirwood. Red eyes looked at him, fierce eyes they were, yet glad to see him. The weirwood had his brother's face. Had his brother always had 3 eyes? Not always, came the silent shout, not before the crow. He sniffed at the bark, smelled wolf and tree and boy, but behind that there were other scents, the rich brown smell of warm earth, and the hard gray smell of stone, and something else, something terrible. Death, he knew. He was smelling death. He cringed back, his hair bristling, and bared his fangs. Don't be afraid. I like it in the dark. No one can see you, but you can see them. But first you have to open your eyes. See? Like this. And the tree reached down and touched him. This scene happens after Jon spares Ygritte, and Qhorin Halfhand and his crew are looking for the wildling camp. After the weirwood with Bran's face touches him, Jon dreams of ghosts finding Mance Rayder's camp. After talking about his dream with the others, Jon comes to the realization that his wolf dreams might be true, and that he himself may be a warg. Bran's talk of not being afraid of the dark is also reminiscent of a scene 3 books later, where Bloodraven tells him, Never fear the darkness, Bran. The strongest trees are rooted in the dark places of the earth. Darkness will be your cloak, your shield, your mother's milk. Darkness will make you strong. And finally, let's not forget that Hodor's very name is evidence that Bran can, and perhaps more importantly, already has influenced the past. Bloodraven, with his ability to see the past, knows this, so he's not telling the truth when he says otherwise. The limits of Bran's powers as told by Bloodraven are simply not true. Bran will be able to see beyond the weirwoods as Bloodraven states, and communicate with others in their dreams as Bloodraven himself already does. But Bran is also able to communicate through the weirwoods and the ravens, both in the present and in the past, and we'll see more of that going forward in the books. Like, comment, subscribe, share, check out my other videos. The next A Song of Ice and Fire video I plan to make is about the story Mira Reed tells to Bran on their way to Bloodraven's cave. The Night of the Laughing Tree.